The years following World War I are often called the Jazz Age. Jazz, as a musical genre, can be very hard to define because it covers everything from ragtime waltzes, popular in the preceding 20 years, from 1897 to 1918, to fusion music from just the last decade of the early 2000s. However, in the 1920s, the musical form called jazz was developed mostly by African American musicians from the southern United States. As the video shows, the public embraced new technologies and enjoyed a decade of peace after the bleak years of World War I. During and after the war, many artists revolted against accepted values. An art movement called Dadaism expressed a new reality, a world free of cares, without discipline or moral restraint. The collage shown here, Hannah Hoke's Cut with the Kitchen Knife, from 1919, shows fragmented words and images placed randomly across the canvas. This art displays the Dada sensibility. Otto Dix was a German soldier who fought in World War I and an artist who became known as a critic of both German society and warfare. Many of his etchings show just what the eye can see and demonstrate a realist view of the world, though he was influenced by Dada. This painting, entitled Storm Troops Advancing Under Gas, is an etching in aquatint made by Otto Dix in 1924. Many artists of this period, like Amedeo Modigliani, who painted the portrait on the left, were inspired by African art, like the mask on the right. Artists often looked outside of traditional subjects for their art, and even when they did use a traditional subject, like a portrait, they tried to break with familiar, conventional elements. Cubism was among the new styles of visual art emerging in the 1920s. Artists like Juan Gris, who painted still life with guitar in 1920, showed three-dimensional objects as patterns of planes and angles, representing a new geometric view of reality. Surrealist art shows objects in an eerie, dreamlike state, trying to capture the unconscious mind at work. Artists like Salvador Dali, who painted the persistence of memory, wanted to reveal the workings of the unconscious mind. Like other artists of the Jazz Age, the Surrealists felt the need to create an alternate reality, a world without rules. Shown on the right is Dali's sculpture, Gala in the Window. Gala was his wife and model for sculptures and paintings. In the Jazz Age, fine art often merged with popular culture. Silent movies attracted millions of viewers in the 1920s, and actors of the silent screen became the first film celebrities. Charlie Chaplin is shown here in the satire Modern Times, the first film in which Chaplin's voice was heard. As new filmmaking technology emerged, sound was added, and talkies, as films with sound were known, attracted a growing film audience. As in the other art forms of the era, talkies questioned traditional values. Film came to reflect the lively spirit and rhythm of the Jazz Age. Musical comedies, dramas, mysteries, and romance stories provided a break from the cares and worries of moviegoers in the 1920s and 1930s, not unlike today. You have completed the mini lesson. Please close the window to return to the lesson.